Hey, it's me, Albini, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're talking about red-haired Shanks. That's right, red-haired Shanks, but not no ordinary red-haired Shanks. This is a red-haired red leader Shanks. Finally, we get a red leader Shanks, or just another leader Shanks to be honest with you, in OP-09. We don't talk about purple Shanks. Please don't. Anyways, with that being said, we're going to jump straight into leader effect. This information was found on AsofDChaz's channel, so links down in the description to the video and the channel. Let's start with the leader effect. Shanks, red leader, 5 life, 5,000 power, / Yonko, red-haired pirates. Once per turn, you may activate this effect when your opponent attacks. Give up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters power minus 1,000 for the turn. This effect is really flexible. I think this is personally one of the, if not the most defensively flexible leader I think in the game. It's honestly ridiculous. This sits somewhere between like red black Sabo and red ace in terms of the defense, but I think that's more or less on a certain scale that I guess I'll kind of talk about later. Yeah, this video is mainly about me just trying to jot down ideas about the leader and how I think it's going to be played. So just sit back, relax, and let's get straight into this thing. We're going to start off by kind of like talking about the effect of the leader. So first things first, I've heard people immediately say, oh, this effect is kind of weak because it's not 2K. If this effect did have a minus 2K, imagine how ridiculous it would be if it was free. AKA, they're not going to make that free. They're going to make you put Dawn on a leader. They're going to make you have a certain amount of cards on the board. They're going to make it kind of not as freeing as just a minus 1K. So that's why I'm happy with the minus 1K. The minus 1K can be used any way you want it, essentially on your opponent's turn. So yeah, it's really useful and it's very flexible. Like at this point, it's almost like they're trying to stick close to the narrative of Shanks really being a master of hockey, and he's using this minus 1,000 power to actually reduce characters and leaders and like kind of diminish their power. Like obviously, like it's literally in the effect. But yeah, I can see why people would want to make it stronger because it's Shanks, but then I think the effect would be restricted. AKA, this would be like a red hair pirate only, or you need to have cards on the board, or you need to require Dawn, or you need to rest Dawn. But I think it's perfectly fine the way it is with just the straight minus and it being unrestricted. So with that being said, let's just talk about the effect and I guess the utilization of it and how it should be maybe used. Let's jump straight into what I think the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, if my opponent has something that attacks twice, if it restands, if it well, yeah, that's pretty much the only way you can attack twice. AKA, Eustace Captain Kidd is gonna be swinging instead of 13K, only 12K twice to your face. But that might make a big difference because you might have that 2K in hand to actually save you and win the game. But yeah, it's probably not the best against Kidd, but I think against other characters and stuff, it kind of like holds its own, especially when you pair it with the cards that I'm gonna talk about soon. Now, the playstyle that I think this Shanks is gonna have is like a weird reddish yellow kind of combination. Stick with me here. If you stuck this far in the video, just pay attention. Hold on. Now I'm gonna get out. Just listen. A reddish yellow style effect where it's like you're gonna rely on the triggers of a certain event as well as the effects of characters to manipulate the power of your opponent and yourself, but mainly yourself. So let's start by talking about the first card being Radical Beam. Radical Beam is the first card that I've ever seen with this trigger on it that basically states your leader or up to one of your characters gain 1,000 power for the turn. That for the turn part is the same as the leaders for the turn, meaning they can both coexist. You can minus the 1,000 on something on your opponent's board, and then you can somehow hit this trigger, and then you can have a plus 1,000, meaning you have a 6K leader while diminishing the power of your opponent by 1K, creating a 2K difference. Basically making it so your opponent has to invest more Dawn into that character or leader to hit your leader effectively. I mean, at base, Shanks is already a 6K leader, theoretically, given that he minuses 1K from your opponent. If your opponent swings 5, you minus 1, and then they swing 4. That's a 1K difference, basically making him a 6K leader if you want to look at it like that. If your opponent swings 7, they're going to actually have to swing 8 in the 5 in order to actually hit you for the sweet spot of 7, because you're going to minus, and then they're going to be a 7K. So if they swing 6, like they make a mistake and maybe you don't remember that's its effect, you're going to minus the 1 and then you're going to 1K out of it. If they swing 7, you're going to minus the 1 and you're going to 2K out of it. It essentially makes it sort of like a 6K leader in a way, if that helps. That explanation was probably horrible. Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let's continue moving on. So Rad Beam, it's a generic red card, Straw Hat Crew. If you're playing a Straw Hat Crew version, you're probably playing Radical Beam. You're also probably playing Guard Point because they also have the same effect. But you could also play the equivalent of King Kong Gum Gum Gatling, which it has the same similar effect, except for it also transfers over to your turn, meaning that 6k boost ends on your next turn. Or you could play other variants, such as Whitebeard Pirates with You May Be a Fool, but I Still Love You. That has the same effect as Radical Beam. And 4000 Brick Fist, which is a Revolutionary Army version, which still has the same 1k bonus, just like Radical Beam. Now, there is another version of this where you could also play effects that you use your leader skill first, hoping and praying that you hit something in life that'll help you, aka you have the film cards, King Kong Gatling, the film version, which KOs up to one of your opponent's characters with 5,000 power or less, which would imply that your opponent swung 6 with something, and then you minused it, making it 5, and then you KO'd it with the trigger. Or your opponent swung 5 with something, you minused it, made it 4, and you could actually KO it with Azure Dragon Stomping Water Flow. It's honestly like very crazy how effective this is, and I think if you hit these triggers, I think you're probably swimming well. You're really good and you're in a good position. But I think the main strategy or the main appeal, I guess, would be for Shanks is that your opponent would never know what you're playing. Because I think you can build this leader any way you want as long as it's red. So if you want to play Whitebeard Shanks, you can. If you want to play Straw Hat Shanks, you can. Well, he was probably Straw Hat Shanks at some point. Red-haired Straw Hat Shanks. Anyways, Straw Hat Crew Shanks, yeah. You could play Revolutionary Army Shanks, yeah. You can play what is it? Drum Island Shanks. Drum Kingdom Shanks. Oh my goodness, I'm just yapping now at this point. Which also has the same event card that can trigger and then give you a plus 6k bonus. But yeah, those are all the events that do that. Let's kind of slide into some characters. Now this is where it gets kind of bizarre, minus like the 1 or 2 at the end, but this is where it gets bizarre. Let's start by talking about OP-09, Jinbei. This character is a blocker, Don X1 on block, play up to 1 red character with a cost of 2 or less from your hand. Now, what's the first red character that comes to your mind when you think of a cost of 2 or less? It took too long. It's Otama. That means you could block with with Jinbei, play down Otama. Otama could target a character minus 2k, and then you can minus 1k with the leader skill, making it minus 3k. Now, imagine just having a casual block and then a minus 3k, and then your blocker probably survives. So now they have to double into the blocker. It's kind of ridiculous. Or you could spread the wealth. You could minus the 2k on a character, and you could minus 1k on a leader. And I mean, it's just so versatile in a way. I feel like it's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none thing a bit. Although I think you can build it to master, something. But then you also have like the mystique or the randomness of your opponent not knowing what you're playing or how it's going to play out. I think this Shanks is really, really unpredictable. Let's jump from that character to Jinbei, another target for Jinbei. Promo Helmelpo. Helmelpo can be played, and on play, it will give up to one of your leaders or characters 1,000 power for the turn. Again, making Shanks a 6k leader. But then if you hit a trigger, he's a 7k leader. It's kind of ridiculous. I think the way that you kind of want to build this is you're going to want to constantly try to boost this power on your opponent's turn while minusing on your opponent's turn to create such a gap or a disparity that your opponent doesn't want to attack, or they're going to just be forced to build a board. How can I forget this? Elephant in the Room, Newgate, 9-drop, Whitebeard, yeah, boom, drop that on the board. Now he's a 7k leader with a Newgate, and you minus 1k. That would imply that your opponent would have to swing, 10k at 7 just to hit the sweet spot on a 7k leader. I really just sat there and did the math. I don't care how it was edited. Dude, it's kind of ridiculous. If you drop a Newgate with Shanks, forget their turn. They're swinging big for no reason. They have to. They have no choice. Yeah, I think that's, oh, no. There's one last card. So we have
Baccarat.
We have Baccarat. Baccarat is a OP-07 film Guiltosoro character who's a blocker. Opponent's turn, on opponent's attack, once per turn, just like Shanks. Trash 1 card from your hand, give up to one of your leaders or characters plus 2k power for the battle. So that means that you could just you could make a 3k disparity against your opponent just by playing Baccarat. And then minusing with Shanks. Because then if you trash a card, plus 2k on Shanks, 7k leader, and then you minus with 1k. So it's just another 3k difference. This leader, I feel like, is going to be a manipulation machine almost when it comes to just power. But yeah, that's the whole list. That's just me just talking about cards that I think Shanks is going to end up using. We don't have knowledge. We do not have knowledge of any other Shanks, red hair Shanks cards. We don't have any red haired pirate cards other than this one right here, other than this leader. So yeah, with that being said, let me know down in the comment section down below if I'm just huffing copium, if I'm just, I don't know, yapping out of my mind, if I'm crazy, if these cards I picked are stupid. Just let me know. Any engagement is good engagement. So with that being said, let me know also what you would play or what you think Shanks is going to be like when he gets here or when he actually comes out in OP-09. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.